coming out on this rainy day. My name is Soli Marotero. A lot of you already know me. I'm professor of folklore and gender studies and the director of Latino studies here at IU Bloomington. And I am co-chair of the Colloquium committee in the Department of Folklore and Ethnomusicology, along with Tyrone Cooper and Fernando Repuela, who is sitting in the back, did a lot of the work in setting up the whole year. But he's shifted off of the committee, but I wanted to recognize him. And then we also have help from our graduate students, Nia Smith and Kimberly Watson. So, thank you for all the work. Before we get started, I'd like to present a land acknowledgement. We wish to acknowledge and honor the Miami, Delaware, Potawatomi, and Shawnee people on whose ancestral homelands the resources of Indiana University at Bloomington is built. I'm going to announce a couple of events that are coming up, and then I'll announce our speaker, and we'll get started. So in terms of the Colloquium events, we're here today for this event. We also have on January 30th and 31st, Kern Jackson's Descended film screening and lecture. Global Studies is doing is co-hosting, and on March 1st we have Ilan Lieberman doing a film screening of his film Benno's Son, and that's going to you'll have more information on that, and that's going to be from 3:30 to 5, and we believe it might be at the McCalla School Media Gallery. But you'll get more detailed information. Just know that those 2 dates there's going to be Colloquium events. But next week there's another event. That is on next Friday, January 19th. The Irish Research Focus Group is going to, Mayor Chair is going to be doing a talk from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. at the Classroom Office Building, room 272. And the talk is entitled Up Traditional Collectivity and Textualization and Drawing on the Past and Contemporary Irish Anti-Colonial Sounding. So join us for those events. There'll be other events happening this semester, and look out for that. So that's just a little heads up and the stuff that's right in front of us. After the talk today, there will be a happy hour at the Atlas Ballroom downtown. I believe that's 209 South College Avenue. Everyone is welcome to join us. So it is my pleasure to introduce Pâmilla Vilas Boas Ribeiro, who is a PhD student in anthropology at the Faculty of Philosophy, Languages, and Human Sciences at the University of São Paulo in Brazil. She holds a master's degree in social anthropology from the Federal University of Minas Gerais in Brazil, and she is a member of the Research Center in Anthropology, Performance, and Drama, and the co-director of the documentaries Life is a Backwater and I Came to Samba. Her research focuses on the performances of the Batuque, is that right? Batuque? An Afro-Brazilian practice at the riverside dwellers of São Francisco River in Brazil, in a daily life marked by the movements of the water and its beings, and by a storm called progress. So today we'll be hearing about life as a backwater, or a whirlpool, crossing sounds, bodies, and times in the Ponto Chique, Batuque, in São Francisco River, Brazil. So join me in welcoming. Thank you.
Well, first, I want to thank you, all of you, for all your warm and all your welcome. So the kindness, and I really appreciate that being here during this time has been an amazing experience for me. So big thank you. Thank you so much for everything. And okay, I prepared a text, and I'm going to show some images. Let's start it. It was 1979. The waters of the São Francisco River slowly filled. First, it covered the entrance of the city of Ponto Chique in Minas Gerais, Brazil. Then it moved forward through the streets until the city became an island. However, the riverine and master of Batuque, Olímpio Gonçalves, decided not to leave. Born and raised on the banks of the river, he experienced several floods, including this one, the greatest of his existence. One day, as flooded waters rose, Olímpio entered his canoe. The animals surrounded were desperate to save themselves. Snakes trapped in the trees jumped into Olímpio's canoe. So did rats and armadillo. Unexpectedly, the snakes did not eat the rat or armadillos, Olympio did not remove the snake from the canoe, and together they made the crossing that saved their lives. The flood also formed what was considered a miraculous lagoon called Mother of the Poor. It was full of fish that jumped into the canoes. It supported the survival of dwellers in times of scarcity. In this Noah Ark tale of Mr. Olympio, a diversity of species came together to face fear collectively. The myth of Noah explained the survival, but also does Mr. Olympio's explanation of how to deal with fear. We can feel fear in double in life, summarized Olympio about the event. Fear brought everyone together and was able to produce new relationships among different species. Snakes, rats, and Olympio together face the ferocity of the river. Nowadays, the river has dams and no fish and contaminated water. In this context, what do the stories about Noah's Ark or a miracle of fish multiplication reveal? A journey that lasts 7 days, Olympio emphasized in one of our main conversations at his doorstep. Olympio, one of my main interlocutors, often recalls this episode and shows me in detail how far the river waters advanced. God created the world in 7 days, came to my mind. When Olympio narrates, he doesn't try to suppress the dualism and contradiction. His speech reveals these multiple facets. It moves back and forth, adding new meaning each time he tells the same story. What I bring here is a kind of montage with various elements I've heard over these years of living with riverine people. It was during the flood of the 979 that Olympio obtained the deer skin to build his first drum, which he still uses in the Batuque today. The skin is very easy to tear, but this one never did, he told me one of those occasions. The story that Olympio constantly recounts in the present has the power to reanimate dormant images from the past. Like a great storyteller who navigates through deeper layers of experience, Olympio evokes the flood, death, and fear. He brings this account to the contemporary moment, a time when the river is shallow, polluted, and on the verge of disappearing. The fact that it's not deep as it once was banished with several species, including enchanted beings like caboclo d'água, a water spirit, mãe d'água, water nymph, only survive in deeper waters. Will the riverine inhabitants disappear? Will the Batuque fade away? Will the mother of the poor lagoon disappear? Will the river itself disappear? As Olympio tells this story, he seems also to inform us about the emotional temperature of the moment. The symbolic action evoked by performance, gesture, corporality, or even speech acts, quoting Austin, are also the ways the riverine people have found to communicate the unspeakable. Performance, quoting Bauman, is an emergent process that draws from inherited conventions, yet speaks to the present concerns and has the potential to create social realities rather than merely reflect them. In this moment, they are facing life and death and things in between. This is a study of how riverside dwellers of San Francisco's river use music, body, gesture, story to engage the world around them, which is itself a part of the process of negotiating identity, quoting Bauman and others. After recounting the dangers and death caused by the flood, Olympio always emphasized the fertilization of the lands. It is necessary to let the river eat the plantation so that it offers abundance. And an example is the mother of the poor lagoon. As the name denotes, the lagoon is considered the mother of all because it fed the local population in times of scarcity. Currently, it is surrounded by farms and dwellers can no longer access it. But it continues to feed the population with stories about enchanted beings that inhabit the lagoon, the miracles fish catches, and the Batuque that took place one night in the lagoon. Life Also of the Batuque, as it was during this flood that Olympus obtained the deer skin to build his first drum and continue the spread inherited from his ancestors. It is a life so energized that the skin never tore. Drums that continue to resonate, the laughter, the collective energization, the celebration. At a time when batuqueiros wonder if the batuque will end, Olympus speaks of his drum that never tore. The thread of the story was never lost. For Walter Benjamin, it is at the moment of death that the knowledge and wisdom of storytelling have the power to express the lived experience. For him, the authority of the storytelling derives from the death. Quoting, to take possession of the course of the things, one hand, and to resign, on the other hand, to the disappearance of these things with the power of death. End quote. Here we have another time that permeates the sound and bodies of the batuque. The sound and performance of the batuque are circular. The batuque falls and rises, empty and filled, just like the river. And body memory makes sense when lived and performed in the present, from the bodies of those present. As Batuque people tell me, they want us to become just memories, but we are here now, present, drumming. And body memory is not linear. So it's not linear. It is a relationship between the past and the present. For Victor Turner, the relationship between past and the present is a musical relationship. Here we have a relationship involving crossings between past and present, body and music. Just some maps to localize you. Here's the place of my research. And just to show how big is the São Francisco's River, I'm researching here in the north of Minas Gerais, close to Bahia. That's the place. So now I will show some clips of the film Life is a Backwater, filmed in 2017. The film has 1 hour and showcases various Batuques groups of São Francisco's River, but here I just choose some excerpts.
dança que veio pelos escravos, né? Quando ela chegou na região nossa, nós pequenos, chegam nossos pais, meus avós. Nós formamos um grupo de idosos, de jovens, nós arrumamos as caixas, o roncoio, e vamos pular e bater palma. A minha mãe faleceu. A minha mãe faleceu, era uma das principais do Batuque. A mãe da Vipina, era a secretária do Batuque, meus tios, do batedor de caixa, que veio lá de Paracatu, 6 dedos, até chegou a Ponto Chique. E de primeiro essa dança era formada como uma diversão de fazendeiro, de festa. Então, aí nós continuamos com nossos pais, passando para nós, e nós agora estamos passando para outra geração, porque a gente está ficando de idade, está sujeito a ir embora a qualquer hora e não voltar mais.
The last beat of the drum starts the first beat of the next rhythm. This notion of circularity is evident in the percussive rhythm of various Afro-Brazilian practices. The rhythm of Dona Maria do Batuque, which we hear at the beginning of the film, is described by her as rounded. The drums in Batuque reveal the idea that every end is a beginning and vice versa, where circularity is the central element in the formation of circles, in musical relationships in chants or in dances. The Batuque produced the paradoxal effect of the same thing in constant change. The music repeats so that the trance and energization happen. The trance caused by the music is capable of engaging the drummers and the audience in an experience that connects them. It is in these moments that body healing happens, that the past becomes present in the circle, that the memories of the ancestors returns in the corporality of the Batuqueiros. Repetition, going back and forth, a backwater, is not just a ritual function, it is also an element of an entire musical community along the São Francisco's River. In this region, batuques are also known as chique, carneiro, because of a typical dance movement that always culminates in the clapping of shoulders between two dancers. At the beginning of the film, we hear Dona Maria do Batuque sing about cattle. Just as the flood represents both death and life, we have here a complex relationship with cattle. The São Francisco's River is known as the river of the corrals, and the advancement of cattle was responsible for land grabbing, death, violence, from the beginning of colonization by Portuguese in 15th until today. Olympio once told me that the world will end in fire and thorns. Fire being the rise in temperature, global warming, and thorns due to the barbed wire fences of land enclosure. Cattle are also ritualized in various practices like Bumba Meu Boi and are sung in Batuque circles. Maria do Batuque mimics the cattle call of the cowboys, and with each repetition she draws closer to the trance induced by the song, a trance that calls the cattle. This Batuque has the power to also call the sacred river, the sacred forest, where one learns about plant handling, healing, and spells. The matrix of the Batuque is the sacred forest, the sacred river, that still resists today as the last frontier of capitalism and commodification. In the film, Valeriano Gonçalves, one of my main intellectors, states that the Batuque originate from the enslaved people and mentions that they carry on this practice from their parents and grandparents who came from Paracatu de Seis Dedos, which was possible a quilombola community. Currently, the Batuque asserts its quilombola identity and speaks extensively about slavery. I imagine its discourse is driven by the here and now in a world that evokes images of enslavement. He tells us that the quilombola experience has been present since the first year of slavery and continues to this today. Here we see that it's not only the past that is recreated in the present, but the present also reshapes the past. Like the drums, every end is a beginning. In this contemporary search for the quilombola origin of the Batuque, Batuqueiros frequently evoke images of another crossing, the flood of 1939 that submerged the community of Paracatu de Seis Dedos, giving rise to Ponto Chique. In 1939, when he was a young child, the member of Batuque, Américo Canelo, was placed in a wooden canoe to escape the flood. He passed away in 2018, and before his death, he told me about his journey in 1939. He emphasized the fish that roamed the city streets. I quote, "At one point, fish were walking right here at my doorstep," he said. I quote, in my grandmother's time, my grandfather's time, my father held on to that root that came from Paracatu. I didn't know Paracatu. Then we would see my father play, my uncles play, everyone played, and we watched. When we start a drumming session, it is begun in the dusk and ended at dawn, recounts Olympia. Social and symbolic universe are recreated even from elements of chaos.
Estão passando para outra geração, porque já está ficando de idade, está sujeito a ir embora a qualquer hora e não voltar mais. Aí quando eu estava batendo na caixa, a Maria respondeu para a Gil, "Oi, Gil, eu vou ter um batuque novo para nós cantar hoje." Então ela falou assim, "Pois é, Maria, então pode cantar." A Maria pegou e respondeu, "Foi você, João." E ele respondeu para Maria, né? "Eu não, Maria. Foi você que me bateu, João, na romper do dia." Aí todo mundo ficou perguntando a Maria por que era que ela estava cantando esse batuque diferente, que esse batuque continuava. Ela falou assim, "Não, João, não, menino. É porque João me bateu nesse outro dia. Então, eu não tinha outra coisa para contar para vocês do que esse batuque." Quando ela respondia assim, "Ai, ai, meu bem, meu amor é você." Eu achava que ela estava falando com outra pessoa, né? Aí começava a briga.
Ai, o meu carneiro, ele vem berrando. 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 A Vera Maria Batuqueira e Mané Batuqueiro. Então, eu gosto muito da brincadeira, né? Encontrei os colegas que nós juntou aí para fazer, né? Então, todo lugar chama nós vamos. A batida da caixa, o batido do roncoio, nós cantamos. E para entoar o batuque, né? Tem que cantar. Brasília DF, Rio de Janeiro, Chapada Gaúcha, São Francisco, Montes Claros, muitos lugares que chamam nós estamos indo. A gente gosta, né? E a cultura é muito boa, né? Eu quero beber cachaça, eu quero beber cachaça, mas eu quero beber. Essa aí eu adoro, viu? E aquela que fala assim, também assim. Você fica aí, mulher, e eu vou no samba e beijar. Se o samba lá tiver bom, eu volto e vem te buscar. Essa aí também eu gosto. Porque se tiver bom, claro que eu vou buscar. Quando eu estava com idade de 16 anos. Assim, meu pai levava nós na festa. Aí chega lá, tinha o forró e o batuque, né? Mas como meu pai não gostava que nós dançávamos o forró, porque era muito coladinho, aí nós deixávamos o forró e ia o batuque. Aí nisso eu comecei e gostei. Assim, às vezes, a gente tá ali no batuque, a gente até gostou muito e tal. Aí vem chama a gente para dançar, mas não é por palavra. Só dá aquela olhadinha assim, já sabe que é para ir pro forró, só que nós não ia, porque meu pai não gostava, entendeu? Tem mesmo assim, igual meu pai falava assim, não quero que você dança baile não, porque baile a gente dança muito colado, mas mesmo no batuque, ai meu Deus, ai nós, nós não era cria não, dessa terra não. Todo mundo, todo lugar que nós já foi, o povo sai assim me abraçando, gente, mas como é que você aprendeu? Como é que você aprendeu? Eu falei, ai meu Deus do céu. Por quê? Eu falei, não, você totalmente, você dança diferente. Por quê? Eu falei, oh meu Deus, não sei. É o meu jeito, né? O meu jeito sempre é esse. Aquela que fala assim, eu não queria mais quer ver, a gata amarrada se for comer. Eu não queria mais quer ver, a gata amarrada se for comer. Agora tem uns que falam e outros respondem, né? Aí fica mais, com som mais avançado, né? Porque só a vida assim, sozinho, assim, tem vezes que não sai nada. Mas dá pra ir.
A saudade há de queira no meu peito vem morar. E a saudade há de queira no meu peito vem morar. Eu estou a vazão ali em cima. Meu Deus. Tem mais ou menos 40. Eu trabalho no Gaião. Trabalhava no Gaião não, trabalhava na fazenda do Tabaquinho. Sério, trabalhava na dele. Ela e outros colegas, cozinhando. Ele uma vez ele manda falar comigo que eu vinha para fazer um batuque. Lá em Brasil, aumentou. E as mulheres foi se arrumando, era muita gente, criou um carro, esperava. Muita gente que eu não via nada daquilo, não era não. Aí eu falei, não vai levar tudo para mim, eu morava no fundo de casa, morava no morro. E vai ir na cantel. Ô Zé de Abílio, seu homem do carro, ele não tinha carro para queimar para chamar. E ele gosta, ele gostou. Não tinha para porra. Ô Zé de Abílio, seu homem do que era o mais que estava ali, era do cadeira de vida. Ô Zé de Abílio, seu homem do lugar, você não tinha carro, para que mandou queimar? Não, eu era triste, mano, não tinha na valia mesmo, Ponto Chique. Ponto Chique se dá de muita forma, nasceu que só tem poeira, não é não? E na verdade só tem não, aqui chove naquele lugar mesmo. Ponto Chique se dá de mais com tudo. De dia faz alta, de noite faz a luz. Tudo que eu fiz, tudo que eu fiz.
Minha irmã.
Estão passando por...
The Batuque also took place in Dona Isabel's yard. The practice was performed in devotion to Saint John as a celebration of a wedding and also during times of crisis involving ruptures in the community. In the film, Valeriano Gonçalves talks about the marital conflict involving Maria Catenga and João Catenga, great drummers from the past who still resonate in local memory today. This case shows how Batuque has a ritualist character of dramatizing social life, where tensions and conflict which cannot be resolved in daily life are dramatized in the Batuque. Just as an Idembo healer, quoting Turner, sees his mission as less about healing an individual patient than solving the problems of a group, Batuque seems to offer this opportunity for deep emotion to surface, pointing to the social dimension of conflict. Today's Batuque is different and happen under different circumstances, with different characters involving different conflicts. The Batuque occurs as a representation in a context that includes events, cultural production, logistical issues, commercial promotion, profits, money, stage, tourists, research, etc. I think that by representing Batuque, they are reinstalling these codes of reciprocity in a present moment, through performance, through body, through presence. It seems that by evoking this past experience and an ancestral repertoire, the Batuque continues to be seen as a dangerous territory, as we heard in Olympus' speech in the film. To illustrate this idea, I would like to read an excerpt from a book written in 1934 in the same region as the research. In the book, the main character is hired to bring development to the region. To do so, he decides to violently suppress the Batuques, seen as a place of resistance and danger, a barbaric ritual performed by the natives who are descendants of indigenous and black people. It reveals the white fear, desire, and apprehension that Afro-Brazilian practice aroused in colonizer. The drumming echoed on the beach as night fell. With the heat, the river became a desired relief. Laughter resonated in the shadow, long and ceaseless. The ground was previously beaten and clean. The sand remained untouched, where chickens couldn't tread. Pigs were driven away. A fire was set up with dry logs and branches. The fire ignited, the locals started arriving. The music gained more resonance, vibrating in the silence. Our brighter and restless feet followed the fire drumming rhythm. The woman felt their hips stirred by a tremor. The men clapped their hands and voices rang clear. They became fervent. The claps had rhythm of moving water, of wings take flight. The night followed peacefully, the trees impassive. One could sense the presence of the river. The drumming continued with madness. The circus spun incessantly, gazes filled with desire crossed the like swords. There was an air of mystery and death over the dance, which unfolded like a barbaric rite. Victor Turner, in his Anthropology of Experience, emphasized that origin of the word experience derives from the Indo-European pur, which means to try, venture, take risk. So experience and danger come from the same root. The author was interested in understanding how societies play tricks on themselves, flirting with dangers and eliciting effects of paralysis in relation to the flow of everyday life. They do this through rituals, festivals, music, and other activities. Even as a representation, by evoking the importance of relationship and codes of reciprocity, Batuque is still seen as a threat to the imposed progress project. Now let's watch the short film I Came from the Sand to Samba. It is still in the final stages and is the result of a meeting that we have with the Batuque de Ponto Chique in 2021 for recording a DVD.
A vida da gente é um nosso. A nossa é uma que fica mandando, girando, né? Girando. Ela roda. O rio corre para lá. Tem uma massa aqui, o rio corre para aqui, para baixo. Não, para baixo do direito, está correndo. Agora tem logo um canteiro, sobe para aqui, chega aqui e volta para cá. Está indo, volta. Não sabe se está indo ou está voltando.
Saudade é muito. Não dá para a gente ficar repisando, não. A máquina vai enfraquecendo, vai enfraquecendo, vai enfraquecendo, dá um dia ela não existe. Quando um quer pegar no cabo, o outro quer arrancar a cabeça.
A gente se estraga a imagem, se fica com a gente. E o DVD não, sai a imagem dentro da gente, mas ele vai para outros lugares, porque é o foco da gente que vai. E a gente mesmo só fica com a lembrança dele dentro da gente. E no DVD fica a lembrança dentro do DVD e dentro das pessoas que vai longe ver. Que são a lembrança que o Batuque traz dentro do DVD com a própria pessoa.
Agripina Catenga is the daughter of Maria Catenga and João Catenga. Her father was a renowned enchanter, even capable of stopping a steamboat with the power of his mind. Agrippina took care of her mother until her passing. her mother danced Batuque until the very end. Agrippina, my interlocutor, is a riverside dweller, fisherwoman, and batuqueira. She has a severe leg problem, a result of intense work on the farms and plantations. Neighbors joke that she always using a crutch, but as soon as she steps into the batuque, she forgets about her leg issues. Corporality, I remembered, energized, like the drum's skin that never tore. It is not just about viewing the body as socially constructed and a subject of discourse. It is molded in action and relationship. Batuqueiros continually reshape themselves in performance. There are several episodes of body healing in Batuque. Interestingly, in the film, Agrippina used the word repisar. I can translate as step again, maybe. Step again, yeah. To me, recall, repeat, and remember. Batuque is a dance done with feet firmly planted on the ground and the body slightly bent in reverence to the ancestors. Repisar, step again, is a bodily action. The ground is constantly repisado, stepped on repeatedly in Batuque. The word trupé, which means catch the rhythm of the drum beat with the foot in a dance. The trupé marks the sonic relationship of the body with the sung and danced poetry. In Batuque, it's not possible to separate the music from the body or the body from the music. The body directly sings, speaks, claps, gestures, and waves the poetry of the song, circumscribing in the dance the memory of the ancestors. The transmission of oral poetry occurs through songs and dances, also inscribed in body memories. To ancestralize is to inscribe oneself in the universe. According to Rafael Galante, this idea of presentification is part of African culture and is done through ritual, song, and the body. It is about a layering of ancestor time, performance, representation with many overlapping meanings, a gravitation center of many layers of time and space. In an African logic, as explained by the ethnomusicologist, a friction drum like the roncador, when played in the present, is capable through sound frequency of bringing to the surface millennia of friction drum tradition. The instrument represents the voice of the ancestor. This sub-bass sound frequency alone represents the ancestor and connects an entire history of Central African friction drums. The roncador's loud bass is what sets the rhythm that goes back and forth. The translation for roncador in English would be something like snorer, or one who snores. I was reflecting on how the word evokes a dreamlike state, aimed the noise of snoring. In all of my experience with Batuque, danger and uncertainties was part of the performance. In the process of recording the DVD in 2021, it was no different. We were looking for a special place in the river, a special place to film the river, but we were prevented from entering. In one of the situations, the evangelical owners did not allow Batuque in their territory because they associated with Afro-Brazilian religions such as Candomblé. We decided to film in one of the city ports, a place with free access and home to the traffic of dwellers and fishermen. The concern was whether the noise from the boats would interfere with the recording, but we chose to incorporate the sounds into the process. In this noisy-filled landscape, why would we focus on the organization of sound? We opted here from an anthropology of image and noise capable of incorporating the sound unconsciousness of riverside landscapes, quoting John Dawson. This Batuque performed on riverbank represent, as the dweller would say, it showcased and brought to the surface fragments of the Batuque that took place by the river, the laughter, the clapping that scandalized the colonial society. Returning to the film's topic, it is important to highlight that our initial proposal was to record the Batuque songs without involving video production. However, Valeriano Gonçalves didn't accept the proposal. For him, recording means capturing images, and the camera has become a fundamental element in contemporary Batuque performance. This element is capable of activating the performance. Batuque represents the river just as the river represents the riverine culture, emphasized Valu. In this representation process, the life in the river and the Batuque revitalize themselves in a reciprocal re-existence. On the recording of the Batuque by the riverbank, for example, it was interesting to notice that the group sang songs I had never heard before, emphasizing experience related to the river, such as the song I Came from the Sand to Samba, which gives the film its name. They sang about sand in their hair, which recalls journeys along the river where they slept on the sandbanks and wake up with sand all of their bodies. Sand, quoting Vanessa Jones, could be considered as a repository of feeling and of experience, of affect and of history. According to the author, sand links us to place, to a particular landscape that traces birth, connection, and loss. Sand gets inside our bodies, our things, in ways at once inconvenient and intrusive. Every friction movement between hard and soft woods of tradition and the present is potentially dramatic, quoting Turner. That's why the main aspect of performance, according to Richard Shackney, is that it's always a restoration of behavior, meaning a behavior that repeats itself and at the same time recreates itself in the present. For the author, the present moment is a negotiation between a desired future and a rehashed past, hence mutable. The future is always death. The past is always life as remembered or reenacted. He compares this process to a film edition table, where pieces of image are rearranged into a new arrangement. This articulation of something from the past is neither a mere identification nor a complete recreation. It's always a different variation. The musical repertoire to be recorded was not predefined. The songs are always remembered in the present moment. The Batuque has a rhythmic and melodic pattern that is updated according to the demands of the moment. I would like to emphasize again the idea of the same thing in constant change. This musical repertoire is shared by various Batuque groups in the region. Versions change with each transmission. Each creates its lips faded, a new interpretation that results in somewhat new original, quoting Taylor. I would like to briefly discuss the cameras that have currently played a significant role in activation of Batuque performance or representations. In the DVD recording, for instance, they performed solely for the cameras without the presence of an audience. Even though they dance and sing for the cameras and recorders, it actually seems like they are singing and dancing for themselves and perhaps for their ancestors or for those who have disappeared, maybe including beings from fauna and flora. At the moment, the camera seems to activate the energization and collective trance, evoking the qualities of a ritual. At the moment, the rhythm intensified. At the moment of trance, when bodies, voices, and instruments came into perfect harmony, our body joined with the camera's body. The cameras became trance cameras. The film team and I entered into this collective energy bodies and cameras in trance produce in an experience. Batuqueiros refer to this process as filmação, highlighting the relationship between film and action, in other words, film and performance. This seems to echo the idea of cine trance by Jean Rouch. In this sense, the camera in trance becomes integrated, just as the notion of performance does for Turner, into the same dangerous relationship with lived world. Film in a ritual became less a way to portray or represent reality than to highlight and be affected by it. For a few minutes, through body and sound, the breath of the ancestors was able to awaken the sense of the living. I think it's a lot of time, but I would like to conclude this presentation with a tribute to Dona Maria do Batuque, who passed away last month. I want to finish with the origins of Batuque. Maria do Batuque is a great master, a reference in the art of Batuque. She lived in the city of São Francisco, about 8 miles away from Ponto Chique. Maria do Batuque and the Ponto Chique Batuque group share kinship ties and a common repertoire of songs. In the film we recorded in 2017, she was already quite frail, but even so she tells a story and sings at the same time. Without her drum, she projects her body and beats in the rhythm on the couch. Memory, story, body, and sound are continuous in the riverside Batuque. You will see that she picks up a book with illustrations and the lyric of her Batuque. She sees the image in the book, remembers the Batuque, sings, and tells stories. We can perceive a rhythmic relationship and a continuum between body, music, and speech. She sings about felão, a kind of a police responsible for violently suppressing Batuques. The wars along the river, the cangaço, many experienced are condensed in her Batuque verses.
Meu irmão, você não era assim não. Agora você chegou na Vila de São Romão. Esse aí é meu pai. Irmão meu, eu quero casar de irmã. Irmão meu, eu vou casar, casa de irmã. Irmão meu, eu já casei 2 vezes. Irmão meu, casamento é muito bom. Casa de irmã. Irmão meu, eu vou casar, casa de irmã. Irmão meu, eu tô querendo um ossinho, casa de irmã. Irmão meu, é pro meu casamento, casa de irmã. Irmão meu, é no dia 1º, casa de irmã. Irmão meu, é 1º de janeiro. Era só tu tem a voz de mãe, tem que ela vem vigiar quando eu estou mal. Eu vejo ela chega, Maria, eu respondo. O que você tem, minha filha? Agora eu estou sentindo isso assim, mãe. Cala. Pô, passa. Vou com ela. Melhorou? Melhor. Você vai ficar boa. Ah, eu pescava, já batava. Menina! Eu pegava mais um pouco. Dos cuias que moravam aqui, lá da vila, o pau que eu queria estava avançando, eu ia primeiro amarrar o meu, quando ele chegava lá, eu ia enchi da bacia de peixe, ter atravessado para a croa, para a roça, ele xingava para danar. Cecília, meu bem, chorar para ir, mas eu está alegria eu não tenho, tristeza comigo mora. Quando a alegria chegar, eu jogo a tristeza fora. Nega, que meu bem chegava, eu ia varrer a casa, sabia, podia. Quem quiser me ver, me apareça na beira do Ibatuleta. Quiser me ver se banha. Que nada. Esses bichos, tudo tá na brincadeira. Aqui é. Essa aqui é. É porque eu me chamo, cara, nazista. Botou o remédio, colírio, criou um trem ruim na cara, que eu não, só a pessoa para ler primeiro explicar. Lua sem clarear, sem caridade, clarear nessa cidade. Ou era uma corredeira, nunca vi bicho para correr dessa maneira. O galo cantou, não é meia-noite não, não é meia-noite não. Tudo aqui é diferente do costume do sertão. Aqui nem se compra nada, nem que for tubarão. Mas aqui só para quem sabe eu. Agora você tá igual. Pelão vê, não vê, não, quer não vê, sei não. Pelão vê, não vê, não, quer não vê, sei não. É valente. Baleia, gente, é o sol raiar. Baleia, gente, é o sol raiar. Matar curis valiosa. Olha, meu pai. Matar curis valiosa. Porque assim, como eu falo, esse negócio de caboclo ali, ó, é do meu pai. A brincadeira dele. Era dele, mas não é muito diferente dessa coisa. Isso aqui fala, Batuque vai abaixo, eles falam que não vai não. Aí eu vou tomar alto. Quando Tona fala, vai, fala, eu vou abaixando, e vou abaixando as pancadas, e vou abaixando. Até eu paro, encosto no chão e falo, fui! Para mim sair, já está fazendo ano que eu no caminho. Mas é só um tiquinho, não vou nem na aula da alegria, não vou. Eu não andava, eu não arribava nem o pé.
Just some conclusions. My goal here was to show how the Batuque, seen as a dangerous territory, crossed the times, colonization process, flood, scarcity, and continues to carry this heritage to this day. Its cosmology, which involves codes of reciprocity and another form of relationship with the sacred river, the sacred forest, pursues to the bodies, presence, and relationships that Batuqueiros create with their performance, or rather, representations. From sound, from body, from stories, they articulate the past and present and show us how the future could unfold. Performance creates words and doesn't just reflect the word. The Backwater expresses itself in speech, in stories, in the poetic of the Batuque, in the rhythm of the drums, in the dance. Batuque, like the São Francisco's river, goes in cycles, through different phases and generations, ups and downs. They continue to emphasize the African dimension of our story, even when the official narrative tends to be denied or overlooked. I know that many questions remain unanswered, but my intention here was to explore different layers of meaning, different possibilities of diving into this life on the riverbanks. The idea was not to explain the films or have them to illustrate my speech, but rather to provide different possibilities of immersion, ups and downs. Recalling Dona Maria do Batuque, will the little Batuque go down? It will not. Thank you.